Yep. I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Like, I can't get over the amount of green. It's so beautiful. Just the entire outdoor area. It's like so thick and plush. It feels really private, even though we're pretty much in the centre of like a residential area in Brunswick Heads. It is our first morning on the east coast. We arrived yesterday, we flew into Brisbane, and then we drove down to Brunswick Heads, which is where we're starting the first part of our eastern leg of the Australia trip. We're here for a week. We're literally surrounded by trees. Just trees, flowers, it's incredible. It's also incredibly humid. I forgot how, it's just me wiping my sweaty top lip, I forgot how incredibly humid it can get on the east coast. Especially coming from the west, it just feels so much more tropical. I quite like it. I like the humidity. I like being able to just walk around. Oh, Dean's just drawing and wobbling the camera a little bit.
Sorry.
No, it's alright. I quite like being able to just walk around, even in like night, in a vest and shorts.
I've missed the humidity.
Have you?
Yeah.
I mean, my hair hasn't missed the humidity. I'm kind of dreading what's going to happen to my hair as the humidity gets worse and worse throughout the day. It's Sunday. It is the last day of the kind of like Christmas holidays, I think, for everyone. It seems like everyone goes back to school tomorrow, and most people go back to work tomorrow. So I feel like the atmosphere is going to change a lot. I think everything's going to feel a lot quieter. Like West was quite busy, obviously, given it was Christmas holidays. So we're actually just going to spend today, I think, just doing some little errands, and then we'll go to Brunswick Heads Beach for the afternoon. I am going to try and make a conscious effort to make sure that I am showing more of my outfits and more of the places that we're going that aren't just the beach, like places that we're eating and things like that, because I was looking through a lot of the footage from Western Australia and realised that most of it was beach. I mean, to be honest, a lot of our time was spent going to different beach spots, because I feel like that is, the West has so many incredible beaches to offer. But because we're so familiar with the East Coast, I feel like we'll be doing other stuff, not just beach trips. Even though Dean is currently trying to make sure he swims at least once a day, which means we have to go to a body of water every single day for a swim. We're just sitting outside on our deck. I've just had a coffee because the people who own this place live, like, it's a building that's been split into two, and they live on the other side. And the husband and wife, and the husband, I think, was an ex barista. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. And he made me a coffee this morning, and it was pretty incredible, which was very kind of him, because I've been really struggling with Nespresso machines and just not really knowing how to use cafetières or anything like that. So that was very nice of him. It was very tasty. There was going to be a point to this conversation. Oh yeah, and I'm just going to finish my book. I'm reading Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason at the moment. I think once I've got to the end of this trip, I might do like a roundup of all the books that I've read whilst I've been away, rather than talk about them individually as I finish them. Right, I'm going to go, because that was, as always, a very long intro. just do a little twizzle. Okay, today's very simple outfit of the day for a little trip to Cabarita this afternoon. Cap, sunspell tank top. I really like this as an alternative to sort of those tighter, you know, more high-necked tank tops. This is a lot more comfortable, it's looser, it feels a bit more breathable. Haru bag, never know how to pronounce the name correctly. Just a little kind of leather woven pouch that you can adjust using these knots at the bottom here. My toe fisherman trousers, these are like super baggy and have got a really low crotch with a tie waist, and then you kind of fold this band over. They're very baggy, they're very long. I was unsure of them at first, but I think with a turn up they don't actually look too bad. I've got some Wonder Web with me and I was actually just going to do a bit of a DIY hemming on them, but with the turn up I actually think it kind of balances out that curved shape quite nicely. Flip-flops, and then the same beach bag that I've been using the whole time I'm here because it's the only bag I've brought with me. Just the woven upmarket bag that I've had for ages.
It's like, look how much pepperoni is on the pizza.
That is
such a doubled layers.
It's a lot of pepperoni.
Let's do pepperoni.
Good morning. I am just about to, as the Aussies say, slip, slop, slap for the morning. In English terms, that means I'm about to put my SPF on. And someone actually left me a comment a couple of days ago asking if I could, at the end of the trip, go through all of the SPFs that I've used while I've been out here. Just thought I'd quickly show you the ones I'm using at the moment. This one I feel like you've all seen quite often because this is the one I use on my face every day when I'm back home. It's the Ultraviolet Supreme Screen Hydrating Facial Skin Screen. This is actually an Australian brand, I believe. Yeah, on the back here it says Melbourne. That reminds me, while I'm here, I do want to go to, I don't want to pop to like, maybe, is it Mecca? And I think they have Sephora over here. So that's my face one. That's kind of like my ride or die face SPF that hasn't changed for a very long time. Just finished up the Sunbum. This is just their regular premium moisturising sunscreen lotion. Just finished up this one, and I've now moved on to the Feel Good Ink Kakadu Plum Sunscreen Lotion SPF 50. I've seen this brand a lot whilst I've been here. I think it came in like 3 different scents, and then there was like one for sensitive skin that was unscented, just a plain unscented one for all skin types. There's also a lip balm. There's also like tinted zincs, which I'm quite intrigued about because I did buy a zinc for my face just because I was a little bit worried about the high points of my face, particularly my nose. Even though I am obviously using this, I think when I'm in the water I was just like, oh, maybe I should be putting on a zinc. But there I bought one and it's white and it's obviously like super thick, so I think a tinted zinc could be really handy if I'm in the water for like a prolonged amount of time. But that's kind of the rotation at the moment. I've also been using the Sunbum scalp and hair mist because the very like first week I did burn my scalp and then ended up with just like loads of flaky skin, and I do not want that to happen again. So although I'm wearing a hat quite often, for times when I'm not wearing a hat I've been using this in my hair. And everything gets stored in just a dust bag, because I'm fed up with everything just jangling around in the bottom of my beach bags. Everything lives in this drawstring bag. This is all of the beach stuff. We're about to head into Byron just to run a couple of errands, just because we need to get a couple of bits that we can't get here in Brunswick Heads, and Byron is kind of like the closest bigger town to us. And this is what I'm going to wear. It's very humid today. I forgot how humid it can get on the East Coast. in comparison to the west, where it's a very dry heat. Like, it's extremely hot in Western Australia, but it's kind of similar to, I guess, the heat that we get back home in the UK when it gets extremely hot. And then over here it's just like completely like engulfs you in humidity. Not all the time. I'd say you can get a dry heat over here, but it seems like after Christmas, like end of January, beginning of Feb, it gets very humid over here. So I'm not sure if a knitted tank top is the best option, but I'm going to go with it. It's kind of like a double layered knitted top. So you've got like, you can't actually remove the layers. It's kind of, it's an illusion. But you've got like a halter layer and a sort of strappy tank layer. It's from a brand called Subtle Studios, but it's about 2 years old now, I'd say. Corley Studio shorts, the big wide leg cotton ones that I wore quite a lot last summer, and Grenson fisherman sandals, which were also talked about in great depth last summer. They're so comfortable. Like, they don't look it at first glance. They kind of look like they'd be quite a stiff leather, but they're so like just soft and flexible from the get-go. Makes a nice change from just the flip-flops that I've been wearing most days, and my Birkenstocks, which have got wet, and now the suede has gone a bit gross. And in terms of just hair, I am literally letting my hair do whatever the sun, the sea, and the humidity dictates, really. I'm not putting any kind of, like, I'm not using any straighteners on it or anything like that. I'm just letting it dry naturally whenever it gets wet, and just making sure that I put like leave-in conditioners in it, because I am a little bit worried just about the ends getting a bit brittle. So regardless of the fact that there are only 6 hangers, this Airbnb is automatically getting full 5-star review for me, because the guy who lives here makes coffee for all of his guests every morning. Like, that is incredible. I've tried my best to use, there is a cafetiere here, and I've tried my best to use it, but I just can't get the knack of it. Every time I use it, the coffee just tastes like pond water. So this is very, very nice to wake up to. Did you just say yours looks better than mine? No. Just found a really nice deli / wine shop around the corner from where we're staying that has a really nice selection of wine and like different spirits and beers and meats and cheese and things, and found this, a margarita seltzer. Very intrigued by this. Also got myself a very nice looking bottle of wine, and I'll show you what else. Look at this tiny little can of aperitivo and tonic. So the guy in the shop was telling me that Bizarro tastes kind of in between, somewhere in between Aperol and Campari, and then the tonic, he did explain to me, and I've completely forgotten what he said about the tonic, but he said it is kind of sort of peppery and bitter. It does say on the side here, grapefruit tang with an earthy herbaceous edge. But look how cute and diddy the can is. It's so sweet. Okay, I'm gonna just sit and sip on my margarita seltzer. Dean just tried it and described it as a cocktail that tastes like it's got the correct amount of ingredients. And the reason he said that is because every cocktail I have had here, to be honest, I haven't had anything adventurous. I've had a couple of margaritas and an amaretto sour. They're like my favourites. I like a sour and I like a margarita. Wow, I look really red in the viewfinder. And every time Dean has tried one, he's just said that they taste like they've got the ingredients wrong. That's how he normally describes cocktails, unless it's a mojito, which he has on a pedestal as like the greatest and best cocktail ever. Surprisingly, he actually really liked this. I think because it's a seltzer, it's a much more kind of like watered down version of a margarita. It tastes a bit like, I cannot remember the name of it. I think it's called Aquarius. It's a drink that I've only ever seen in Spain, and it's kind of like a hydration drink. I don't actually know if it is a hydration drink, but it has a slight sort of lemony taste. This tastes a bit like that, but slightly cloudier and a little bit salty, but in a nice way. Obviously, because a margarita normally has salt to complement it, yeah, this does have a little bit of salt in it. This is nice. Could definitely chug this down very easily. Yes, 10 out of 10. Would recommend if you come across this in Australia. I've never seen this before. Good morning. Don't know why I'm whispering. Probably because it's 6 a.m. and I'm walking down to the beach because there are two things that I have never seen before that I am able to see here in Australia, and that is watching the sunset behind the sea and watching the sunrise over the sea. So I managed to watch the sunset when we were in WA, and now that we're east I can watch the sunrise. And because we're now in Byron and we're actually staying right near the lighthouse, which is where there is the most easterly point, I thought I would be able to get a really good view of the sunrise. I think I've woken up a little bit too late though, but I'm gonna head down and just see what it looks like anyway. But I think for those of you that know what the coastline looks like, sorry, I look terrible. I literally just got up and just left the house immediately. Byron is in a bay. It's called Byron Bay, duh. So it curves round and then points out, and that's the most easterly point. We are kind of like staying right, Wategos is like tucked in to the bay part, and I think to see the sunrise you need to be the other side of the cape. So the water is ahead of me now, and I think the sun is rising slightly to my right. So I've got a funny feeling I'm not actually going to see anything when I get down there. And what I'm going to have to do is tomorrow morning, the sky looks lovely though, it's very like sort of candy floss. What I'm going to have to do tomorrow morning is get up even earlier, so maybe kind of get up at about 5:30 and do the trek up to the lighthouse. From here it only takes about 40 minutes, so I'd get up there at about 6:10 maybe. And oh my god, the moon, I can still see the moon looks very cool. And then hopefully by the time I get up to the lighthouse, the sun would be just coming up behind the sea. But it's still nice to be up at 6 a.m, walking down to the beach. Yeah, they're two things that I really wanted to see while I was here. And it probably sounds really lame, but like they're things that I don't see at home. We live about 40-minute drive from the beach. So I could probably see the sun rise at some point, but I don't think it would be impressive as it looks here. So I actually decided to power walk round along the lighthouse track to see if I could maybe like peek through the trees or something along the track to catch the sunrise, sorry, not sunset, and found this path that kind of leads to a bit of the headland that really juts out. So behind me you can see a full view of the bay, but then this side you can see the sunrise and part of the headland that kind of like leads around to where the lighthouse is. I'll show you so you can kind of see what I mean. Really glad I did that. I'm really gutted that he stayed in bed, but I'm going to drag him out tomorrow morning so you can witness the beauty that was the sunrise. So I came out of this little pathway here to find this, and then just walked all the way up there and watched the sunrise. So to the left here you've got, this is where Wategos is, and then the bay goes right round. And then on the right hand side here if you were to then keep kind of like walking all the way up there, you can maybe see just up there some people. That's where I think that might be the lighthouse viewing platform, I'm not sure, but this was a pretty good viewpoint. Hello, me again. You can tell that I am on my own having some morning thoughts. I was just thinking how incredible it would be for this kind of like this morning to be a common way you start your day. And then I was thinking, actually, this is the reality for quite a lot of people. I was thinking about yesterday, we went and saw some friends who moved over here just before COVID. So about 3 years ago, they've been back and forth for over 20 years and eventually made the permanent move just before COVID. They live slightly further up on the coast near Coolangatta, and they were saying how they wake up usually between 5:30 and 6. Maybe go for a walk along the beach, get a coffee, might go for a run, do some Pilates or something, even go for a swim. And they do all of these things before they've even been to work. Then once they've finished work, they can do it all again, you know, go for another swim, just another walk along the sea. And yeah, hate to admit, but very envious of that lifestyle, and wish it was something that I could make a reality for Dean and I. But obviously we have large commitments back home, which we are very excited about and obviously very grateful for. But when we come here, we are kind of faced with the reality of this lifestyle that we would really like to have, but it just feels like it's not within our grasp. Hence why we come back and forth so often. I'm quite out of breath from walking up that hill. I'm now going to make myself a drink and some breakfast. Just having a nap, and I'm about to spruce myself up for the evening because we're actually going to Ray's this evening for a couple of drinks. Ray's is a very fancy hotel that I feel deserves a little bit of effort in terms of appearance and what I'm wearing, as opposed to just rocking up in like flip-flops and a bikini. Yeah, it's a very fancy hotel at Wategos here that I've never been to, because every time we've been here I've just felt like I cannot set foot in that place. I actually, before the trip, I looked at how much it would cost for Dean and I to stay there for an evening, because I was like, oh, maybe I can treat us to just like one night there. The cheapest room was $1,400. So that idea went quickly out the window. But even if you're not staying there, you can still go to the bar and the restaurant. So we're going out for a couple of drinks with Emma and Olive. So Emma is a UK-based beauty influencer who I've met several times back home, and she's over in Byron Bay at the moment visiting her friend Olive. And Olive is a content creator who lives here in Byron, who I also follow, but I've never met before. So I'm really excited to meet Olive and obviously see Emma. It's just nice to, I guess, meet in this beautiful setting. And yeah, I'm really excited to see Ray's. But Emma is an incredible skincare and beauty influencer who always has the most beautiful skin. And having sat on the beach for most of the day, I'm very conscious of like looking a little bit dried out. So I'm trying to like hydrate myself as much as possible so that I don't look too dried out. I've also painted my toenails, which is very unlike me. I've used this, I'm not going to show you my feet, I'm not giving you that content for free. Black satin from Chanel. I think I've had this probably for about 3 or 4 years, but I haven't actually used it because I always thought like a black nail polish wasn't the best on my skin tone, but I was thinking with a bit of a tan, black nail polish could look quite nice. So yeah, I'm just going to try and like spruce myself up a bit. And then I'll show you my outfit once I'm at that point of the evening. Where can I put this so that you can see what I'm wearing? Maybe there? I don't know if that's going to work. No. Do you know what? Maybe I'll just have to prop you up somewhere. Maybe here. There we go. Maybe there. no, okay, this is not working. So I'm wearing this necklace from a brand that is based here in Byron, actually, called Casita. It's just like a glass piece on a blue string. Albus lumen knitted, like a sort of merino wool knitted top with a very delicate satin trim, and then I'm wearing a really long silk skirt. It's not bias cut though, it's like straight down. I don't like a bias cut, I have to say. I know they're very popular and they're very flattering, but I just don't like the way a bias cut feels. I prefer something looser. Wow. Sorry, my battery is flashing at me. Flip-flops and then this pouch. I am en route to meet Olive and Emma again. We're going to the St Agni store this morning to try on a few bits and to grab some lunch at the cafe next door. Yesterday was really nice, but in typical me fashion, I did not document any of it. I find it really hard in social situations to remember to pick up my phone. That normally sort of comes second or third, especially if I'm meeting someone new. I was just like talk the entire evening, but it was lovely. Ray's was beautiful. I had a little sneak peek at Olive and Emma's room that they were staying in, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It's definitely the type of place I think that would be great for a honeymoon. Very special. Just had drinks, didn't eat. So yeah, that's what I'm doing this morning. I just decided to just allow Dean to just stay at home. I thought I'm not going to drag him to shops and just make him sit and watch me try stuff on. Quick whiz round where we're staying. So you come up these steps, up the hill, through all of these trees. There is a path that leads you straight down to the beach and probably takes about 2 minutes. And then this is where we're staying, in this lovely treehouse style, I guess you'd call it a maisonette. So the couple who built this built it back in the 70s, and they actually live, so this plot of land is a really steep hill, so they actually live further up the hill behind this building. I'll show you. You can't actually see the building because there's so much vegetation, but I'll kind of show you the plot of land behind this building. So we've got a very nice outside area that's quite private because it's very high up, and this kind of blocks anyone being able to see. Then we move through into the open, sorry, it's really dark at the moment because the sun hasn't quite made its way round to this side. So you come into a very open plan sort of dining living space. You've got a dining room here, sofa, very nice corner sofa here, TV. Then we have a shower, which is all very nice and private. There's just loads of greenery out the back there. And then I'll go upstairs and then I'll go into the kitchen, up the stairs. This is probably my favourite part, the bedroom. It's really just very serene, peaceful. It's really nice in the afternoon when the sun actually comes through this window. You just get this gorgeous light flooding this room. Then back down. That gives you a slightly better overview, actually. It's such a shame it's not light in here. It looks lovely when the sun is coming through. Then hidden behind the stairs is the kitchen area. There's Dean just making a cup of tea. And then out the back here, like down these steps is the garage, and then there's a laundry facility round the corner here, and then left up here is where they live. But as you can see, like, there's so much vegetation you can't actually see anything. So they're fully private up there somewhere, and we're down here. But this is so nice. Like, Wategos has a lot of big flashy developments. Like, there's some humongous houses, like mega mansions, like mega luxurious accommodation, but I think this just has a much nicer, cozier vibe, and we're still really close to the beach here. When you're upstairs, you can see the ocean just over there. The location of our last stop is, I can't actually get over how incredible this house is. I'm going to obviously show you around in just a moment. I've never stayed anywhere like this. Like, I can't wrap my head around just how beautiful this is, and the location is incredible. So we're staying in a place called Fingal Head, and the house that we're staying in is literally, like, at the back garden there's a small little path that takes you to the beach, and in 20 seconds you're at the beach. It feels very surreal to be staying somewhere like this. So this is how the outside looks, and upon arrival you are greeted by this huge door, which is opening very well timed by itself. So the first room you enter, and actually this is the only room that is downstairs, this is the entirety of the downstairs level, humongous living, kitchen and dining area. Like, I don't know how to illustrate how spacious this is. Maybe I need to actually stand in it to show you for scale. So you've got all the seating area here. Along the back there is all storage, so like the fridge is in there, there's a laundry bit, there's a pantry, there's tons of storage that end. And then this is the colossal kitchen worktop. So you've got all the hob, the sink, coffee machine, sitting area here. Then you have the outside area. So this is where I was saying the path leads to the beach. So the beach is literally just behind this bit of trees. And then if I actually step back, sorry, there is a plane going overhead. If I lean back up, you'll be able to see the entire house. And then these doors completely open up, so you can push them all the way that way and all the way along the side, so the entire room is kind of open and looks like a sort of cantilever. And then I'll go upstairs. I love the floor in here. This house has given me a lot of inspiration for the renovation. Like, love the sort of warm toned terrazzo floor, love the stainless steel worktop. Then through here is the staircase. And the stairs themselves, because they're so long, have their own light switch. So the upstairs is all carpeted, which is really nice because you can't hear anything when you're downstairs, like you can't hear anyone stomping around upstairs. This is the first bathroom. I love this bathroom. It's really simple. Like there's nothing like, you know, garish or bright in here. But it's really, I don't know, it feels quite comforting and quite warm. I think the wooden ceiling is giving it that sort of like warm feeling. Hello. Then this is all storage. The right hand side here is a kid's bedroom with some bunk beds in. And then through this very long hallway, on the left hand side here is the master bedroom with an ensuite. Yeah, this is definitely master bedroom. This is the bedroom that we're going to be sleeping in. And then in here is the ensuite, which again, like, is such a good, like, look how big this is. I mean, it's absolutely filled with my detritus that I carry around with me. Big wardrobe with loads of hangers, which I'm currently in the process of hanging all my bits. And then this side is another bedroom, which I'm kind of using as a secondary wardrobe space. There is a wardrobe there. And then if you want to close, because if you were here with other people, you'd obviously want some privacy in the bedrooms, you can pull these doors across. They're not exactly going to soundproof it, but at least they give you the privacy. And then if you head back up, you can see. This morning we had a little bit of rain here, and it was just so lovely being up here and watching all the rain. I feel like my walking attire is giving sort of like Laura Dern, Jurassic Park, if it was 2023, you know. We're gonna go for a walk. Everything is completely unpacked now. So we're gonna go for a walk up to the lighthouse, which is probably about a 20-minute round trip. It's a really nice walk through the rainforest, and you go up the hill to where the lighthouse is, and the hill is all black volcanic rock, so it's beautiful. And then come back down the hill and walk home via the beach, because then we cut through a little private path which leads to our back garden. It's unreal. And I've got my swimming costume on in case the sea has calmed down a little bit, because I'd quite like to have a little bit of a swim. So I'm wearing a very manky, sun cream covered and coffee covered hat. I've spilled all sorts of stuff on this during this trip. It needs a good wash. COS swimsuit from last summer. It's such a good, like, just nice classic cut. Uniqlo chino shorts. I have no idea where these ankle socks are from. I want to say Muji, possibly. And Solomon XT, what are these? XT4? They normally say on them, don't they? Yes, XT, oh, I don't know. Just some trendy Solomon walking shoes.
Stomping.
Okay, let's taste my first ever attempt at trying to use a coffee machine. Wow, that's really nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Finally.
Oh, that's good.
Is it?
That's really good. Like, tastes like a proper coffee that you'd get from a coffee shop. This whole trip I've been trying to use, what have I used? I've used just an espresso machine with pods, but I've been through a lot of bad pods. I've tried a cafetiere twice and just tasted. I didn't know how to really use it. It tasted awful. Then I used, is it called a mocha pot?
Your stovetop pot.
The stovetop thing. Again, just tasted so bad. And finally, this trying to show off with the Yorkshire tea. This actually tastes incredible. Something I really love about being on holiday is just like putting on something nice for absolutely no reason at all. Like, might not even be leaving the house, but in the evening when it's all like balmy and the temperature's lovely, it's just sometimes quite nice to put on like a nice outfit that's kind of still chill, but you know, you feel a bit nice in. We're actually just having a barbecue. It's our penultimate night. Tomorrow night we'll probably go out for dinner somewhere like close to Byron. So tonight we were like, let's have a barbecue, because we have not had a barbecue at all, which is, I can't quite believe we've not had a single barbecue since being in Australia. And I've just been putting on outfits, and I thought this would be quite a nice one to just sit, chill in with a glass of wine. It's kind of dark, it's getting a bit dark, so I can't really show you in the mirror. Maybe I can balance the camera on this box. This this outfit was inspired by one of the Olsen twins, I can't remember which one, wore an outfit where she wore like this really long sort of like beige knitted top with, I think it was either like I think it was with a linen skirt or like a white skirt, and then I think she's got a pair of very old, beautiful Phoebe Philo era Celine sandals. I will insert the picture here. It's like burnt into the back of my brain. I always, every time I go on holiday, like that for me is just like one of the most perfect outfits for like the evening when it's like still a bit warm, but like you can get away with wearing a knit. Anyway, I basically tried to copy the full look with this really long Arquette knitted tank tabard thing. This must be about 2 years old now. I obviously will check to see if Arquette still do this. Sometimes they're quite good at re-releasing, like reissuing things season to season. But it's like super long, loose, with like a sort of drop armhole, and then on my bottom half, which I will angle maybe over here so you can slightly see, just got a pair of like really loose straight leg linen trousers. These are from a brand called Missing You Already. These are about 2, maybe even 3 years old now. But what I'm actually going to do, and I'm really not good at this, and I know this is something that lots of people ask for, is start linking alternatives, because it is super easy to find alternatives. I'm just being lazy, and I need to get into the habit of putting alternatives to either things that are out of stock, things that are maybe like a higher price point, and like putting in some like variable price point alternatives. So that is something I'm going to try and do going forward. So you will see in the description box, hopefully, of the previous video and this video, that I've really started to kind of like bulk out all the links. And then these Monica Vinader gold hoops, which you've seen before some point last year. These are the sort of like hammered gold earrings that have, you probably can't see on camera, but because of the hammered effect, they kind of have a sort of slightly organic look to them, because it kind of gives them a bit of texture. And then just just flip-flops, just regular Havaianas. I've always said Havaianas, but I'm probably saying it wrong, like I do with most things. And And that's my look for sitting downstairs and eating barbecue food. Hello, it's present day me here to sign off the vlog because I didn't actually create a natural sign off for this one. I'm sat on the sofa in front of my laptop and I've just got to the end of editing this absolute whopper of a vlog. If you have managed to sit through all of that, then well done, and I cannot thank you enough for watching this vlog because I know long ones aren't for everyone. I feel like there's normally a bit of a threshold, sort of like past the 25-minute mark, but I also know there are quite a kind of like big group of you who love the long vlogs, so thank you so much for watching this one. There was a lot of stuff that I couldn't include just because it was going to get longer and longer, and I didn't want to create it in 2 parts because I've still got Melbourne to do. We've also been back home for 2 weeks, so I've got present day stuff still to do. I've got renovation things to do, so I feel like there's quite a backlog, and just didn't want to like create even more of a backlog. So yeah, one big whopper sandwiched in between WA and Melbourne, which will be next. And then that'll be it for Australia. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this one. I do hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed putting this one together, especially just trying to, I guess, come up with some slightly different editing techniques to my usual style of editing, I guess, with like the intro and the breaks and things. So I shall see you all in the next one. Goodbye.